Hey, I'm right back with another video, and it's like 10:37, and I just got back from the store. I had to get some gas for my truck, and then my son's truck, I should say. And so, of course, there's a dollar store, up the street, and I figured, it's Sunday, and I might as well stroll into the Dollar Tree, and I did, and I just got a couple of items and stuff like that. I've been looking a lot in the craft sections at all the cheap little inexpensive stores because, you can always find pretty good deals, like on gems. If you like working art projects with gems or shiny objects, they often have things like that. They also have like those little popsicle sticks. And, I already have pom-poms and stuff like that. But it's really good to check those places first. I actually found something kind of cool at the dollar store yesterday. I went to 99-cent store yesterday, and I picked up this wood plaque, and I thought, I don't know what I'm going to use this for, but, you can find surfaces that are easy to paint on at the dollar store if you don't want to buy a canvas, or, you're not a great painter, but you just want to paint every once in a while. And I'm mentioning the foam sheets that I got, and yeah, I'm in the mood for show and tell today. This is the standard size pack that you get at the dollar store, okay? And then I also was lucky enough to find them in these small sizes, which are basically half. They're about the same size if you put both of them together, just kind of cut in half. But I did find these round ones yesterday, and I was like, oh, okay, great. Did I need them? Not really, but it's kind of cool to have round shapes to work with instead of just square or rectangular. But I did get some paints there, and I've been saying that I know at the dollar store they have paint. They sell paint there, and this is the brand of paint that they're selling. It's called Angel's Crafts. I have not tried it yet. I bought two of their paints. I bought one pink, and there was a blue one that I purchased. I think that was pretty much all they had left. It looks like that rack of different colors that they had was pretty picked through, but I did pick up two of them. And then also Joann's. I went to Joann's yesterday and got some fabric for my chair, which I will show you in just a second. But they also have a generic brand that they sell there. I haven't used, yes I did. I did use it. I have been working on a project, which I will show you. I'm sorry. It's a Craft Essentials, and this is like 69 cents a bottle. Now paints aren't really expensive. They usually run anywhere from $1.50 to sometimes all the way up to maybe $3 for a bottle like this, depending on what brand you get. So I, try to look for inexpensive ones if I can. Unless, of course, the color that's just so rare. But, most of the colors I have are pretty standard. I have, like, the white, the black. I have orange colors, pink colors, red colors, purple colors. And for colors that are, like if I want it brick red instead of a light red, I have the colors where I can just kind of blend them together and work to get a different shade. So I think I'm pretty well stocked on that. But, like, I did use this color, this purple, on, I'm working on a project right now, but for this particular foam sheet, and I have been putting things together, trying to put little paint things together, things that I'm not using, I just make out of fun or whatever. So I'm just kind of saving them and putting them in a little book, so, I guess I could look at through the years or whatever. But I changed the fabric on my chair, which I'm going to be using for sewing instead. So anyway, I was thinking this morning, about the topic of religion, and, I'm so done talking about that. That's a subject matter that, I guess, it's good to have, but I think I've had it so many times throughout my life. Just thinking about religion. Like I mentioned before, I was really interested in religion as a kid and everything. But I do think it's given me a lot of knowledge on how to talk about why discriminating against people because of religion, especially people who are associated with the Christian faith. So it's, I remember going to church a few times when I was younger, and it was... the time that I was really young, so it's like, there wasn't really any real depth to all the little Bible classes that you go to at that age. You're just basically going there, to draw pictures of Jesus and go for afternoon snack and then maybe a little Bible story or something. But as far as learning about parables, how they relate, what Jesus did on the earth affects mankind. Well, these deep questions that I think kids at that age aren't really ready to question, or their Sunday schools don't really provide that deep type understanding or training or lessons for kids. But so my experience there wasn't really deep, but I had that interest anyway, so I would kind of study as much as I possibly could on my own. And I do know that there's different denominations. I mean, that's my point. My point is that the very fact that everybody considers themselves to be Christian, but you have people who are Catholic, you have people who are, Methodist, you have Presbyterians, you've got even Mormons, and I say even Mormons, even though I know they're considered to be Christians, but some people think that they're a little off the charts, okay? But still, they're still considered Christians, Catholic, so on and so forth. And yet, they all have different variations in their belief system. That's one of the reasons why they are set apart. That's why they call themselves something different. They're completely different from what the other Christian denominations or sects are. And so, yeah, they're all Christians. And I'm thinking, how did you get one book? How did one book become into so many different denominations? And so a lot of people argue, well, you can't argue a person to convert to a religion when there's multiple faiths, okay? Because it's cult behavior. It's not focused. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? What are you trying to convert me to, or whatever? This issue, to me, is water under the bridge, okay? Because I think, and I'm not mad at the people who got involved in some ways, because, there's so much conditioning that goes on out in the world. You think that by taking a religious stance on an issue that you're doing the right thing, okay? And I think some people in their mind really believed that they were doing the right thing, because in their mind it's like, well, God is good and this is what you're supposed to do. And that's true. But at the same time, it's like, it's not really about that issue. It's not really, it's an unfocused argument. You know what I mean? And it shows that there's a flaw in that logic and thinking. Just like everybody has their way of communicating with God based on their own denominational faith, that's their choice, okay? And it doesn't get picked apart. Like, for example, everybody just thinks they're all mishmash Christians, but really they're not, okay? It's not that way. And just as they have their right to see, or serve or connect to God that way, it is basically open to interpretation at this point. So if it's open to interpretation, well, then I have the right to see my way of showing devotion to God, just like anybody else does. And so that's my point anyway. I hope I didn't stray too far off, but it gets really hard to, communicate something like that, because it's always a touchy subject, but nobody knows why it's a touchy subject. I personally think for a lot of times it's a touchy subject because it's very difficult to have faith in things we can't understand. So you grasp one concept, and anybody's view of something that might be different than what yours is could be earth-shattering and cause questioning, concerns, or whatever. And then you get, some people are fearful of that because they're comfortable believing when they die they're going to go to heaven. They don't want to sit there and think of the possibility that there might be something in between. There might be this, or it's a very touchy subject, period. You know what I mean? But yeah, of course I believe in God. I'm just not somebody who wants to be a part of organized religion. I will say that just because I don't want to be a part of organized religion doesn't mean that everybody who goes to church is going to hell or something like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is people who are members of churches and congregations, they need to be able to have, number one, a leader who is responsible for the flock in that congregation, and they should be able to answer questions. If there's some sort of ultimate need for control, or there's something like that, then you have to question. You have to think, well, is this really something that's right, or is this a cult? Always have that in the back of your mind, okay? Because I will tell you that there's more cults out there. There's more cults out there than there really are people who are trying to really serve God. So you have to question that, period, okay? But, you know, you just have to be careful about power and control is really another issue. That's kind of a topic for another day. But anyway, it is Sunday today, and I've been working on my little arts and crafts and just kind of humming around the house and trying to keep things clean and whatever. It wasn't a bad weekend. It was actually quite relaxing. You know, I did the best I could to get my mind off of things. You know, I get antsy. Now that I understand what's going on, I do feel a little bit better, only because when you're going through this system, you don't know what's happening to you. You don't know what's happening. You got all these questions and weird people doing certain things, and that's where, I mean, it's like, what in the world is all of this about? And I'm relieved to understand, you know, that I'm pretty sure I'm comfortable enough to believe that what I'm saying is right. What I mean by that is I'm talking about the cute guy and all this other weird stuff and people putting their hands in things that doesn't belong to them and so on and so forth. Okay, so I understand that. Okay, so that brings me peace. Okay, what I don't like is I don't like the harassment. You know, going into job interviews, I don't appreciate it. I don't. You know, it's a violation of my rights. And it's just fucking harassment, plain and simple. You know, end of discussion. So anyway, yeah, you know, I'm not giving up on the cute guy. I'm constantly, like, you know, sending him messages, letting him know that I'm interested. And, you know, the door's always open, you know. Hey, I like the guy, whatever. Anyway, but I think that's really all I wanted to say about, you know, the religious issue. And, you know, just, you got to open your eyes to stuff. You know, just because of something is the common belief doesn't mean it's right. Okay, this lesson should serve many people. For the rest of, I don't know, for as long as you live. Because it's an interesting lesson to learn on so many levels. I mean, there's so many things that I think that this issue proves, you know. I think it's really eye-opening. I really do. It really is amazing. It's mind-blowing, actually. So anyway, wrapping up this video. I'll be back with another one later. Have a great day.